everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. I'm so excited to take your questions, but before we start, I want to tell you about Golden Revive Plus. If you suffer from chronic pain, listen up, because here's a way to help you get real relief. As a fitness fanatic, I understand that recovery is just as important as the workout itself. But whether you're recovering from an injury or just looking for everyday relief from pain in your joints and muscles, nerve pain, fibrosis, and inflammation, I recommend Golden Revive Plus from Up Wellness. This advanced all-natural formula combines 6 powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients, including a proprietary turmeric extract that's 200 times stronger than raw turmeric. All of this to address the root cause of your pain, reducing scarring, swelling, and tissue damage using the healing powers of nature to help your body heal itself. Formulated by husband and wife team Doctors Josh and Amanda Levitt, Golden Revive Plus gives you real pain relief and better range of motion, plus better heart, eye, and brain health. Join the over 300,000 Americans who are already using Golden Revive Plus to get and stay pain-free. For a limited time, you can try Golden Revive Plus for 30% off at goldenrevive.com. Just use promo code Trump at checkout. All right, let's get to these questions. Here we go. Question number 1. How did the debate make you feel? I had a lot of feelings about that debate. Let me tell you, how much time do we have today? First of all, I feel like I knew in the first 30 seconds that Joe Biden was done. First, I was excited because I was like, oh, well, this is good, of course, for Donald Trump, because Joe Biden looks off his game. He looks like he's not totally sure what's going on here. And then, of course, Donald Trump starts in and he's very direct and concise and calm with his answers, and obviously knew all the topics and knew about the vision he had for the future of this country and articulated it all well. I thought his performance was fantastic, 10 out of 10 for me, for Donald Trump. And then as the night went on and as I continued to watch Joe Biden, honestly, I felt really sad. And sad is not the way I want to feel about my commander-in-chief. Sad is not the way that I want our adversaries or our allies around the world looking at the president of the United States. This guy is supposed to be the leader of the free world. And yet that the stare and the not knowing what he was saying and kind of trailing off into different subjects, I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know, maybe those 7 days, and keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden had 7 days off to prepare in the woods of Camp David. I've been to Camp David. It's lovely. A lot of great spaces there to relax, to really compose yourself, to get some good, solid rest in. He had 16 advisors, don't forget that, who were there grilling him on all the stuff. There was a guy who was pretending to be Donald Trump, unknown whether or not this individual dressed up in full Donald Trump regalia, which, by the way, if you did that, kudos to you. I hope it was worth it, and I hope somebody took a photo. But he had the 7 days to prepare for this, to rest up, to get ready. And then he showed up, and that was 7 days off and really preparing with 16 advisors quizzing you. I don't know if they over-prepared him. Some of those talking points he had were just that. This wasn't just answering questions. These were talking points. They gave him lines, and they said, here's what you need to say whenever they ask you X, Y, or Z. When Donald Trump does this, you do this. And I think they all just merged together, and they all came out in different answers and the wrong times, clearly. Obviously, I would say if you're a person who wants to see Donald Trump win, you probably were very happy with that debate, but I'm really terrified for our country. Honestly, this guy is in charge right now, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget that. We've got to get through the next several months, get to the election on November 5th, and then you have the transition period before Donald Trump is actually inaugurated back into the White House as president of the United States. That's a long time. And there's a lot of opportunity for people to do things really awful to us here in this country or around the world to Americans. Or I don't know, if you're China and you want to invade Taiwan, I don't know. There's a lot that could happen as a result of our allies and our enemies seeing that debate. And it is terrifying. Obviously, you see the Democrats in full-blown panic mode. Everybody's melting down over there. They desperately want to get Joe Biden off the ticket. But what are you going to do? First of all, they have a problem because Joe Biden either has to step down and say, I quit, I'm not going to seek re-election, you can put somebody else in there, or they have to take him out with the 25th Amendment, which solidifies for every American out there, this guy should never have been in charge of America. He certainly doesn't have the faculties about him to run this country, to be the leader of the free world. And if you do that, you are thwarting the democratic process. You are going against the will of millions of American voters who, on the Democrat side, have cast their ballots for Joe Biden to be their next president. So what do you say to all those people? How is it that the party who continues to talk about the fact that democracy is on the ballot is actually considering, from what everybody hears, going against that democratic process and saying, oh, we'll just plug someone else in? And who would it be? Kamala? She polls lower than Joe Biden. They don't want her in there. They know she can't win. Head-to-head matchup with Donald Trump, not even close. It's not going to be Kamala Harris. So what do you say to her? How do you get her out of the way? What do you promise her to move her along? I don't know who they're going to put in there. I know Hillary would like another stab at it. Man, she's been chomping at the bit. She kind of resurfaced a lot lately. They floated Gavin Newsom out there, although I kind of think he's a shiny object. I don't know. They have people that they seem to be considering, but they can't use all that money that they fundraised for Joe Biden. There's an FEC rule that says you can't transfer all that money to a different candidate. Whatever happens, here's what I know. The Democrats right now are backed into a corner. And think about what happens when people are backed into a corner. You do crazy stuff. Think about an animal backed in a corner. They lash out, they get crazy. So I'm just going to say, we're prepared for anything on the Republican side, at the RNC, at the Trump campaign. We're ready. We're prepared because we know we have the best candidate in Donald J. Trump. I think the vision he laid out for the future of the country at that debate, bar none, you can't question it, was the vision that every American wants to see for the future of this country. They want their country back. They want gas prices and groceries to come down. They want our standing on the world stage restored. They want a strong military. They want peace through strength. They want a closed southern border. That's the America Donald Trump is promising. So despite the fact that Joe Biden's performance is the one we're all talking about because it was so bad and so concerning, obviously the American people saw a true leader in Donald Trump on that stage. But I did feel very uncomfortable and very sad for Joe Biden. And honestly, very sad for this country. It's a sad time. And you can thank a Democrat for lying to you about Joe Biden the next time you see them. You might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of cancel culture. So now they want to pass the savings directly onto you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a one-product company. But with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, just $25. And for the first time ever, the premium MyPillow with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping. This amazing offer won't last long. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code Trump or call 800-624-3945 today. Okay, next question. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert? Man, if I was an introvert, this is the wrong path for me, isn't it? Wow. Here's what I'll say though. If you just said to me, listen, plan out an evening for yourself. My evening is not like, let me go out, let me be around a lot of people, let me get crazy. No. Perfect evening for me these days. If you told me that I got to stay home and watch like a movie or a couple of series, like a couple of episodes of a series of a show in a row, eat dinner, I don't know, on my couch and just relax in like sweatpants or pajamas, that's aces for me. I'm going to take that all day. I don't get a lot of those these days. And it always seems like when I feel like I'm going to have one of those nights, something happens and my kids are up. Look at this. This is Mango. This is one of my kids' toys. Do you know where I found this? I found this outside. Somebody handed it to me. My son left this at the pool the other day, and I just got it back. I was looking for Mango last night until about 9:30 at night. That's what happens in my house when I think I have an opportunity to just relax and shut down. And every mom out there knows somebody's, everybody else is relaxing or sleeping. I got laundry to do. I'm cleaning up the kitchen. I got to take the dogs out again. It's never ending. So I consider myself an extrovert because I'm very I'm very happy to be around people. I do like being around people, and I'm around people a lot. I'm out there in your face all the time. You can't escape us. I know all of my fans in the mainstream media love that. But at the end of the day, if I could pick my like perfect thing, it would kind of be to be by myself for a couple of hours. I don't know. We don't have that much longer to go until this election. And hopefully I'll get a couple of days after November 5th that look just like that. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Next question. What is your pitch to undecided voters? Oh man, I gotta be honest with you. How are you undecided right now? Let me talk to, here's where I think we are in this country. I think that most people have decided, but you do have a few in the middle. And if you're undecided right now and you're in the middle, I'm going to suggest it's probably because you've been getting your information from very left-leaning outlets and sources. And if what you're hearing out there is that Donald Trump will sign a federal abortion ban and you're worried about that, first of all, he said in the debate, flat out, absolutely not. That is not my intention. What I want to make sure is that the will of the people is done. And the most effective way to do that as it relates to abortion is to send it back to the states. So wherever you live, you need to decide in your own state how that will look for you. It should not be up to a small group of people on the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. It certainly shouldn't be up to the president to decide that. He said he doesn't want to decide that. That's up to your state. So don't let him lie to you about that, because let's be honest, here's the two things the Democrats are running on. They're running on abortion and they're running on January 6th. So that abortion debate, they're going to try and tell you that Donald Trump is coming after your reproductive rights. Nothing could be further from the truth. He has said, I don't want it to be the person to deal with this. I'm sending it back to the states, or he didn't do it. The Supreme Court sent it back to the states. That's where our founding fathers would have wanted it. We, the people, should decide on that. Again, not a small group of people in D.C. So just research a little bit when you hear them say these things, because that is not true at all. The other thing they're going to try and tell you is that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. Now, I outlined in an earlier question how the Democrats right now are a threat to our democratic process. We live in a constitutional republic, so I'll say that, and then I'll go into the rest of this answer. They're going to try and tell you that the most egregious thing that's ever happened in this country is January 6th. They knew this day would come. They knew they would find themselves here. They've known all along that Joe Biden is an empty shell, an empty suit, that this guy has really very little faculties about him. He should not be the president of the United States right now. And they knew that Donald Trump was likely going to run. So what did they do? They made such a show and spectacle out of January 6th so that you would buy into it as the most awful thing that's ever happened in this country. May I remind you about the riots in the summer of love 2020, where you saw Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis burning to the ground. Remember the mostly peaceful protest, the guy with the flames behind him saying this is a mostly peaceful protest. People looted, they broke into and burned down small businesses, they burned down police precincts, federal buildings, assaulted, killed some of them police officers during that. And you don't hear about why that's problematic, but you hear about this very specific instance. Donald Trump on January 6th said, I want everyone to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. It was Nancy Pelosi, who we now know in recently released footage, actually said, I made a mistake. I should have taken Donald Trump on the offer to have the National Guard in there. The idea that this is what you should be voting on is ludicrous, and it's insulting to you as an independent voter. What you ought to be voting on and what you ought to look at is which one of these two candidates actually had more jobs coming back to this country. Which one of these two candidates secured the southern border, had more money in your pocket, had actual low unemployment? Which one of these two candidates, instead of wars in the Middle East, had peace agreements in the Middle East, meetings with Kim Jong-un to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, held China accountable, had trade agreements with China, trade agreements with Canada, with Mexico? Donald Trump did that. Donald Trump wants to give you the greatest opportunity to succeed you possibly can have. He wants to bring back the American dream. You have been lied to consistently by the other side, by the Democrats, who have been propping up Joe Biden a la Weekend at Bernie's now for far too long, and I hope you have been paying attention. Take Donald Trump's name out of it, plug any other name in there that you want, and look at the actual policies. Look at what he did while he was president. Look at what he wants to do when he gets back in that White House, and then make your decision. Do not be swayed by the bias of the mainstream media, the left-wing media out there. They will stop at nothing to keep Donald Trump out of that White House because they're terrified of him exposing all the swamp monsters in Washington, D.C. They're terrified of him going in there and actually exposing them and their lies. It started last week at that debate, and I hope you are paying attention, America. This election is about giving you your country back, and only one of these candidates wants to do it. It's Donald J. Trump. Okay, here we go. Final question. If you could assign one household chore to Eric, what would it be? Can I ask a question about this question? Is this assign him a household chore that he does very well, or that he kind of like does halfway so that I don't ask him to do it again? Because all you husbands out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and don't think you don't know. This morning, I actually got up and walked in the kitchen and was very surprised because my husband had unloaded the entire dishwasher, and he wanted some big pat on the back for this. And I'm like, hey, I do this every single day. Oh, I digress. What would my chore be for Eric if I could? You know what we have a problem with in our house? Our dog Ben, our biggest dog, likes to steal socks. And I don't know what the story is, but Eric somehow leaves his socks in a place in his hamper where Ben can get them. I have Eric's socks all over our house. They're everywhere. And it's so funny. The kids even joke about it. They're like, there goes Ben with dad's socks again. So I would ask, number one, that we figure out a way to keep the socks away from Ben. It would probably require like closing a closet door. But aside from that, if Eric Trump wanted to be in charge every day of unloading the dishwasher, and I would say loading it too, let's give him two. That would be great. The amount of time that would save me, it would be significant because I wake up about 15 minutes earlier every day. Again, moms out there know this. Just because I know, I'm like, all right, I got to unload the dishwasher. I got to get these plates ready. I got to get the breakfast going. We know. You guys understand this. So isn't it funny that even in my house, it is probably the same thing as in your house? So, babe, when you're watching the show later, you can do that every single day, 365 times a year. I would love that. Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for us here at Lara Trump. Wanted for questioning. Great questions today. Loved them. Send us in more. There's no lack of things to talk about right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump. Wanted for questioning. Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.